Hi everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm going to be showing you Olive Ab's upcoming Celebrate collection for their 6-year anniversary. This is a 5-piece lineup of 4 re-releasing shades and 1 brand new one. They're going to be launching on January 15th, so I will save some more details, especially about their birthday sale, for the end of the video. For now, let me just show you the swatches. The first shade we have is Faerie, which is described as a warm purple metallic. This is definitely a very warm shade of purple, almost bordering on like a pinky purple or magenta sort of shade. And as you can see, it has that very shimmery metallic sort of formula. The base itself is ever so slightly sheer. I don't know if I'd call it acrylic necessarily, but on the first coat, you can still see a little hint of nail line, and honestly, I think you can still see that on 2 coats, whether that's here in my live swatch portion or in my full hand swatch in direct sunlight. There's maybe a little hint of it, but I don't think it's enough to do 3 coats. I think the color itself is super vibrant, and the shimmer is definitely distracting from any visible nail line. As expected, the shimmer stands out really nicely in direct sunlight, and in lower lighting, it's a lot harder to see, but you do catch a glimpse of it, almost like it has this internal sheen. Next up we have Nightcourt, which is described as a sparkly gray metallic. So even though this one is also described as a metallic, it is a little bit different looking than the previous shade, where this one is a lot more focused on the shimmer and less on the pearlescent sort of aspect that I think is typical with metallic shades. The formula on this was just as smooth and easy to apply. Again, a little bit sheer on the first coat, but it does build up to be nearly fully opaque in 2 coats. I personally thought it looked really great in 2 coats during my live swatch portion and for most of my nails on the full hand swatch here. But you can see on my ring finger, I think I just went in a little bit thinner by accident. So there is some more visible nail line there. So you might need a 3rd coat for this shade, but it's really beautiful. I love how the shimmer sparkles in direct sunlight, but I think it looks really good in lower lighting too. It just provides this really interesting visual texture. Up next we have Lunar, and this one is described as a purple toned gray cream. This has a lush formula. It is super creamy, very full coverage on the first coat alone. I would say not quite a 1-coater. Maybe if your nails are shorter and you're in a bit of a rush, you might be able to get away with it, but I would just do a 2nd coat for it. And yeah, this is a surprise favorite from Olive Ab for me because I usually am pretty picky when it comes to these gray leaning purple shades. They can sometimes just be very hit or miss for me, and I find this one to be perfectly flattering for my skin tone. The new shade for this release is called 6, and it's described as a frosty champagne shimmer with a smattering of holographic glitter. I would almost call this another shimmer metallic kind of formula. There's something about the way the shimmer plays with the base that just makes it lean a little bit like a metallic for me personally. And while it might look a little sheer on the first coat, it does build up really beautifully again in just 2 coats alone. I think I would advise being careful with your application just because the shimmer is so finely milled that you might be able to see some brush strokes if you're not careful. But other than that, the formula was really nice and smooth as expected with Olive Ab shades. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this one. Like, I love the finish. I think it does look pretty, but there's something I guess about the color specifically that isn't hitting the spot for me. I think it's a little too dark for what I would typically expect for a champagne color. Like, the shimmer is very champagne, but the base color I think is a little too dark for me. And rounding out the collection, we have Pisces, which is a rich, warm eggplant purple cream. This has another super lush formula, just so buttery smooth, easy to apply, though I would say this one leans ever so slightly on the crelly side, which, as a reminder, if you haven't seen my Olive Ave reviews, their creams usually are either very full coverage and creamy or slightly crelly, but they all build up to be fully opaque, so no issues about seeing any visible nail line with their creams. And yeah, this is such a gorgeous color. I'm not usually one for like such deep, rich purples like this. It's rare that I'm in the mood for them, but this is definitely a great one. And here is a collage of my full hand swatches so you can see the color story a bit better. I love the purples in here. I know Faerie technically looks very pink next to the other two, but they all just have such a nice wintry, festive kind of feel. Moving on to comparisons, we're starting with Faerie, and I first wanted to show this next to Afterglow, which is just a cream, but it's mostly for color reference if you already have this one in your collection. Faerie is a little bit darker and richer. The closest that I have to a shimmer like Faerie is Mooncat's Freshly Bitten, which is a shimmer, but it's a lot deeper, a little bit more of this reddish brown undertone base color, and the shimmer overall is a lot darker as well, with a more stronger purple color head on that shifts to red and extreme light. So I feel like depending on the angle and the lighting, they might look a little similar, but they're super different at the same time, so I wouldn't say they're close to being dupes at all. Next for Nightcourt, I wanted to show this next to Mooncat's Death Star and the Silent Scream, which the Silent Scream is a magnetic, but at least in the bottle, it kind of looks like a sparkly gray metallic. Death Star also does have the scattered holographic effect, which Nightcourt doesn't have, but aside from that, the actual shimmery visual effect is kind of similar. The biggest difference is the color, and I guess the coverage too. Both of the Mooncat shades are much more pigmented. For reference, I did also want to show Nightcourt next to KBShimmer's Breathe Just Breathe, which was a polish pickup shade from last year. It does have a similar grayish base with this blue shimmer, but the multi-chrome is very color shifty, so definitely not dupes. The only other gray metallic I could think of was Nailpollies What a Softie, which was from their Sunday Fun Day collection that came out last summer, but that one has an even softer, more subdued shimmer effect. The Nailpollies, I think, has a bigger focus on the metallic flakies. Then for Lunar, I wanted to show this next to Holo Taco's Well Wishes, which was from their recent declassified collection. This is another very gray purple kind of color, but Well Wishes is on the much cooler side, so you can see it's very blue leaning and also a lot brighter. Lunar is definitely deeper. Next for 6, I wanted to show this next to Zoya's Tasha, which is a very true like medium to dark brown metallic shade. I thought they were gonna be kind of similar in the bottle, but they're very different, especially on the nail. You really get more of that champagne color in 6. So here it is next to Olive Ave's Foliage, which I believe recently came back, but that's another very light, shimmery, almost metallic kind of finish, but a little bit more of this honey amber undertone. So I thought some other colors that were a little closer were ILNP's Teddy, for example, which is a magnetic, but leaving it unmagnetized, I feel like it kind of has a similar vibe to 6, but it is a lot lighter and more sheer. And then I remembered ILNP's Reindeer Crossing, which came out in the most recent Santa's Workshop collection, which is another magnetic, and it does have these gold metallic flakies, but the base color and the shimmer I think are a bit closer to what 6 looks like, but not anywhere near a dupe. And I almost forgot Olive Ave's Stardust, which recently also came back in their winter collection. I believe they described this as a rose gold shimmer metallic, but I kind of always called it a champagne color, so you can see it is definitely the most similar color-wise to 6, just maybe a little bit lighter, but it also has this slightly different visual look with more of a wet shimmer, I think. And lastly for Pisces, I wanted to show this next to Mooncat's Queen of Chaos and Crack's Eggplant emoji. Queen of Chaos is definitely one of the darkest purple creams that I have, so it's similar to Pisces in that way, but as I'm sure you can tell, color-wise, it's very different because it's much more on the blue-leaning side. It almost looks indigo here, but in real life, it's not indigo at all. And the Cracked, I would say, is also on the cooler or blue-leaning side, but more importantly, it's a lot dustier, so it has the stronger gray undertone. The only other dark, warm tone purple I have is NCLA's Eat Pie, Drink Wine, which sadly isn't around, but it's not a dupe either way because it's a bit too desaturated. So that wraps up my swatches and comparisons of Olive Ave's upcoming Celebrate collection. As a reminder, these are going to be launching on January 15th alongside their birthday sale. The sale will run from the 15th through the 19th, and it's buy 4, get 1 free, and the free shipping threshold has been lowered to $56, so that way if you do buy the 4 polishes and get your 5th free one, you'll also get free shipping on top of it. So I'd love to know what you think of these shades and these releases. It's honestly crazy to think that this is going to be their 6th year of Olive Ave. It just feels like yesterday that they started as a brand. But as usual, you know that I love seeing some fan favorites come back, and I really love this model that Olive Ave has been doing where a lot of their launches focus mainly on re-releasing some previous shades along with 1 or 2 new ones. So when it comes to this release specifically, I definitely am more excited about the re-releases, admittedly, but I am also kind of confused because some of them I didn't even realize were gone because I feel like they were just so recent, specifically Faerie and Nightcourt. Like those didn't come out last year, but the year before that, and so it just feels so recent, but I guess maybe they've just been out of stock for a really long time. I don't know if those two really made it into that like semi-retired state like other shades like Lunar or Pisces were, where it makes sense for those to, you know, come out of retirement for this launch. But I love this lineup. I think it's just so fun and not festive, but I don't know, like I get this celebration vibe from it with this, you know, darker metallic purple sort of color scheme. Unfortunately, I don't love the brand new shade, and I am bummed about that. When I first saw it, I thought that I did like it, but then once I tried it on, it seemed a little bit more bronzy than I was expecting. It just, I don't know, there's something about the color that I don't love on me, at least when it comes to like, you know, a full manicure. I do think it is still a very pretty shade that complements some of the other colors really nicely. So I think I'll like it more as an accent color, but I honestly almost wish it was just a slightly more purple shade. Like I know this is a very purple heavy launch, but I can't help but think if it was like a deep plummy sort of purple metallic, I just would have liked that a lot more because I do love the finish. I think that is really pretty. It's just the color for me that's like not totally there, but I'd love to know what you think. As usual, I will have Olive Ave's website linked down below. And as a reminder too, I am an affiliate with Olive Ave, but unfortunately my discount code doesn't stack on top of their birthday sale, but you still can use my affiliate link to still shop the sale and also support me and my channel. So if you do that, a big thank you for all your support. But even if you don't plan on shopping their sale, let me know any and all thoughts you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!